Okay, this is take two. Gilda's Fault or Contemporary, a brand new space. We just saw Dave Flogger's show, and we're going to introduce you to the people who have started this gallery. And in a way, I'm glad this is take two because I can draw all kind of comparisons to the Willis Gallery, which was going when I was a student.
Chris.
Lindsey.
And Ian.
And this is Chris Samuels.
Chris Samuels.
We had a talk.
Yeah, we had a talk.
And Ian Swanson.
Yeah.
Ian Swanson, Lindsey.
Lindsey Yeo.
Yeah, I always give your last name.
Yeah.
Okay, well, say some things.
So this is our second official show. The first show we had an the open studio night at the Russell. We got the space for free.
That's
just
good.
so they could fill it up, you know, and then we pretty much did all the work to turn it into a white cube. And
It is a white
yeah,
cube.
I wanted to make sure that we had the lights that kind of reflected what we would like to see in the gallery, not just clip-on lights or can lights.
You know,
so,
that's kind of
yeah, I just wanted to kind
good.
of make sure that the proper lighting and just white walls and that kind of thing. And then we had the first official show was Ian Swanson's show, and then this would be our second official show.
Okay. Tell me about that show, or tell us about the show.
It actually went really good. There was actually a really big turnout, surprisingly, for the first actual opening. But
People want to see shows.
plus,
You advertise a show, they'll come.
True.
So, like, we're trying to work a lot with the Cave and Detroit Industrial projects to coordinate a lot of things.
You know, that would be a good thing, because I was up here for Cave for Vanessa's show,
Right.
which was awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
I haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
You got to talk. Equal opportunity.
Well, we showed our work during the open studios, so we were the
First
pre-show.
unofficial
The
show.
unofficial
It was only 2
first
days.
show.
But we are booked through the rest of the year. We just
we-
kind of kicked it off because it's an artist-run space. And, we got the space and we needed someone to show in there. So initially we were just like, okay, let's just show our own work just to, get the space
Going.
going.
And then
And
proposals started
then we have
rolling.
time to start getting proposals and stuff. And now we're booked through the rest of the year. So.
Fantastic.
One show in March, so all the way to January and then to March.
Well, I put my mailing list, my name down there.
Yeah.
I got to get some, send me something.
Our next show is going to be Wagner Whitehead, and he's going to Brazil for 2 months as a residency. And so when he comes back,
Wow.
the work is going to be from the residency. So it should be
Oh.
a pretty good fall opener.
That would be really good.
At the end of August, we're doing a collaboration with the Dip Gallery during the People's Arts Festival.
Now, where's that gallery?
Down the hall from us.
Right down
Down the hall.
Building 2, Russell Industrial Center.
Excellent.
Third floor.
Third floor. In this building.
In this building.
Okay.
Also, ORG, we try to, the original name is ORG, but I guess it comes across as org. But the ORG, we specialize and try to kind of centralize on one-person solo shows. So, like Dave's show, so we can just kind of get someone's idea across.
That's a good idea.
I don't think there's really too much of that going on. A lot of these shows, there's a lot of good shows, but sometimes it gets lost in this.
When you have like a big group show.
Yeah, the idea gets lost.
Well, that's what we do at the Detroit Repertory Theater Gallery. We only do one-person shows.
Yeah.
And for that very same reason, it's a whole different audience.
True.
But it's a good thing because especially young artists don't get a chance to have a one-person show.
Exactly.
No, and that's what we wanted to do is give an opportunity to more people.
No, I'm happy about that because you get to see a broader range and
What's going on in this? There's a lot of artists coming up in their 20s right now that are doing a lot of interesting stuff. That
yeah.
aren't necessarily, especially in these economic times, aren't getting grabbed by, commercial spaces because
As if there were.
they're too new.
Well, that's a whole nother
It's a whole other.
conversation because I'm wondering about commercial spaces with the internet and the way people can put a PayPal button on their website and sell work. I
So
think
what's the idea of a commercial space?
the commercial spaces still need to be promoted and protected, but their function, I think, is going to have to be redefined. So because all of you are doing things that are outside of that.
Agreed.
which doesn't exclude you from
Well,
participating
that
in
can
it.
also be attached to some of the academics, I mean, or the institutions like MOCAD or the DIA.
Right.
We don't have the equivalent of the corridor artists, the DIA show, or any museum shows. But if you were to look around, there's numerous artists doing, you know, far superior things than maybe even 10 years ago. So there's enough of us together to maybe represent a Detroit museum show. And I mean, nobody's knocking on our door, so you know, it results into like student artist-run spaces, Cave, ORG.
Right. You make your own door.
Exactly.
Because in terms of any artist, the doors aren't being knocked on.
But you know, we have these museums established in Detroit, MOCAD, and there is no Detroit connection happening at the museum. There's a fundraiser. It doesn't reflect any of us, any of the people we know. Maybe there's a couple, but you know, so that's an interesting question to bring up. I mean,
A friend of mine a number of years ago felt the same way about the DIA. So he got a projector, and he projected artists' works on the side of the DIA, which was really funny and interesting. And he wasn't necessarily saying, I want in, but he was letting them know that we're here. And I think that every generation around here has that same kind of desire.
We have a museum of, you know, contemporary
Contemporary
Detroit art.
No,
Museum of
remember, it's Museum of Contemporary Art
Detroit.
Which is talking
so
about.
Should that be an entity that exists in Detroit to bring in outside artists, or should that also include Detroit artists in the museum?
It has to do both, and I think just to play devil's advocate, what they have said is that they want to establish themselves as a strong global entity, and then whatever they show there will have more of an imprimatur. That
sounds like an interesting theory, and it might have happened before, but there's still enough of us around here and enough Detroit viewers to look at Detroit art and like it.
I mean,
the proof is right here.
Yeah, in New York, they look in their own backyard.
The backyard here is pretty full right now. So.
Yeah, and if you go to New York, you see that 80% of the work there is kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe
because everybody goes there.
Exactly, and maybe they keep just going through it, but you know, at this point, for them to do a Detroit show, it'd be bursting out of the seams because of all the great work that's happening.
Yeah.
From all the artists around here.
Well, what do you think about the Kresge thing coming up?
I think it's great. I mean, I'm not one of the fellows, but I think it's a great opportunity for people to get funds that realize some bigger projects, and obviously those maybe 18 fellows will get the opportunity to show at different spaces that they
well,
didn't before.
The main reason was to promote local artists, whatever they want to do with it, and to show that there is support for them, and you'll find that the private organizations are doing that.
Exactly, like the Kresge Foundation.
Right, and there's more of them that are doing it, but they're all private because the public ones don't have the funds. And so it's going to be, it's a good start that has to be sustained.
Hopefully it continues.
No, it will continue.
Well, I thought it was a stipulation of depending on certain things.
No.
It will happen.
No, it's going into perpetuity.
Okay, excellent.
Because if it didn't, that would be kind of a shame.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, next year is the
Literary arts.
Literary and performance, and then the year after that is the visual arts again.
So
And
bi-yearly.
they have committed to it.
Excellent.
So, you know, I think I tend to be, like I talked to him about this a lot, I tend to be real positive about stuff. I'm going to get you in a 3-shot. And one of the things I'm really positive about is the fact that this is happening.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that this is here.
That's one thing about Detroit is, you know, you can basically do what you want to do.
Right.
It's open. There's no, you know, there is no, if you follow this path, there is no path per se. It's pretty much open for interpretation.
Exactly.
You can come together and open a space and say, this is a gallery.
And see, I think more people should do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
And,
Because
and
it can happen here.
exactly.
In no other city could we afford to do this.
Look, in no other city could I have like a 2,000 square foot studio and afford a house too.
I mean,
you know,
besides monetary issues, I mean, there are like set in place standards from previous artists, you know, say in New York, that there's a certain path. You know, if you're this type of painter, this sculptor, you can kind of follow this kind of arrow and maybe get to a certain point. Here, it's a wide, open Midwest.
hey, we rock.
Exactly.
We rock. And that's why I decided to stay here after I got my MFA. Well, he had something to do with it too, but